This boy sees ghosts daily and avoids unnecessary interactions with them. One day, a female ghost gets too close and tries to possess him. He punches her and tells her not to bother him again. She apologizes and vows never to return. This boy, Bang Paul, has been seeing ghosts since childhood. His ultimate goal is to earn 1 billion won by working as an exorcist. Despite years of effort, he's only earned 127 million won, meaning it will take him another 12 years to reach his target. Due to his lack of combat experience, he only deals with weak ghosts and avoids stronger ones. One day, he receives a request from a girl to exorcise an evil legendary ghost at Sea Girls High School. She offers him 10 million won for immediate assistance, and he agrees. Upon arrival, he spots a beautiful high school girl in the computer lab. She vanishes and reappears before him. Recognizing her as the ghost, Bang Paul engages in a fight. After he knocks her down, the girl claims she died from a heart condition. When he approaches to check on her, she pokes him in the eyes and badly beats him. Frustrated by his defeat, Bang Paul leaves the school in anger. The next day, he returns wielding his uncle's holy sword. He attempts to attack the ghost, but she evades him, kicking him in the back and causing him to fall. During their struggle, they tumble down the stairs and accidentally kiss. The ghost named Henji died 5 years ago but cannot remember the circumstances of her death. The kiss triggers a flood of memories, revealing her lying injured on the road. Bang Paul tries to clarify that the kiss was accidental due to their fall. Furious at Bang Paul for making fun of her first kiss, Henji continues to battle him. Meanwhile, Bang Paul's university friends and fellow Ghost Net Club members Chun, Sanging, and Rang are in the school bathroom filming ghosts for their online channel to attract more club members. Suddenly, they are attacked by a different ghost than Henji, causing them to flee in terror. Seeing the ghost's menacing face, Bang Pal monetarily forgets his role as an exorcist. As they attempt to leave through the elevator, the ghost grabs Bang Pal by the neck. In a panic, Bang Pal punches the ghost, only to be horrified when the ghost's face changes from that of a girl to a man. The man, a former teacher, had been a pervert who was spying on girls in the restroom. He died after being struck by a bucket thrown by a student and falling, hitting his head on a wash basin. Although Bang Paul could escape, he decides to help Henji when he sees her alone with a perverted ghost. He intervenes with a sword just before the pervert can harm Henji. A fierce fight breaks out, revealing the ghost's superior strength. Bang Paul initially pretends to apologize to the ghost to catch him off guard and then launches a surprise attack. However, the pervert easily overpowers him and grabs him by the neck, trying to choke him to death. Seeing Bang Paul in danger, Henji comes to his rescue and kicks the pervert in the groin. Together, they fight the evil ghost. When the ghost knocks Henji down, she instructs Bang Paul to aim for the ghost's head, where it has a weak spot. Following her guidance, Bang Pal strikes the ghost's head with a sword, causing it to disappear forever. Later, during their conversation, Bang Pal realizes that Henji was the one who messaged him earlier from the school computer about the ghost. She had sought his help because she was frightened of the perverted ghost. She visits Bang Pal at his house and attempts to kiss him again. Unaware of her true intentions, Bang Pal pushes her away, saying she looks younger than him and should act accordingly. Hanji, flattered by his words, actually is older than him due to her death 5 years ago. Explains she just needs to confirm something. Annoyed and unwilling to continue the conversation, Bang Pal tells her to leave. However, Henji is determined to stay. Mang Chal strongly advises Bang Pal against interacting with ghosts. Despite this, Bang Pal continues his work as an exorcist because his uncle told him that undergoing surgery would stop him from seeing ghosts. To gather the 1 billion won needed for the operation and to live a normal life, Bang Pal disregards his uncle's advice. Henji continues to follow him everywhere. When Bang Pal asks if she has nowhere else to go, Henji reveals she has lost her memory and doesn't know why or how she died. Doubtful of her story, Bang Pal shows her an amulet believed to protect against ghosts. Recognizing the amulet as a threat, Henji leaves his house. The next day, monk Mang Chal is summoned by a distressed owner who is troubled by a ghost terrorizing her guests. Confident in his ability to banish the ghost, Mangchal prepares to confront it with his sword. However, as an elderly monk with diminished power, he faces a difficult challenge. After being overpowered and beaten by the ghost at the tin, Mangchal returns home that night. He senses something unusual in the apartment, but dismisses it and joins Bangpal for dinner. Later, while Bangpal is asleep, Henji seizes the opportunity to kiss him. Mangchul wakes up from a nightmare, startling Bangpal. Seeing Henji too close, Bangpal becomes annoyed and kicks her out of the room. The following day, Bangpal is tasked with removing the ghost from the inn. After the owner shows them the room and leaves, Bangpal starts exploring. Meanwhile, Henji senses something amiss in the gallery area. As Bangpal is in the room, a hand pulls him into a cupboard. It's a female ghost who warns him to leave the inn immediately, as she was abused and killed by her husband, who has also become a ghost and is responsible for the deaths at the inn. Suddenly, Bangpal hears a screaming. Emerging from the cupboard, he sees the evil ghost lifting Henji by the throat. The ghost spots Bangpal and throws Henji aside to confront him. Despite Bangpal's effort to fight back, the ghost is stronger. Just as the ghost is about to kill him, Henji rushes to his aid, kicking the ghost away. During the battle, Henji discovers the ghost's weaknesses. The man had been stabbed by his friend in the same room. Since both the husband and the wife were murdered, their souls were trapped in the living realm. Armed with his knowledge, Henji immobilizes the ghost and instructs Bangpal to strike him in the side. Following her guidance, Bangpal defeats the ghost. With the husband's spirit vanquished, the woman is finally freed to move on to the afterlife. That night, Bangpal asks Henji why she has been following him. Henji confesses that kissing him earlier caused her to remember her death after 5 years. Bangpal kisses Henji again, but this time she doesn't experience any flashbacks. Meanwhile, Chun, Sanging, and Rang are trying to make their ghost videos go viral. Chun encounters a setback when his account is hacked by a troll named Sadako. Sadako spreads negativity online, particularly targeting a famous idol singer named Miz with malicious comments. Sadako then hacks Chun's account to post hate comments about Miz, which lead Miz to tragically take her own life. Her soul now seeks revenge against those who caused her suffering. Bangpal and Henji make a deal. In return for helping Bangpal defeat ghosts by showing their weaknesses, Henji will get food and shelter from Bangpal, allowing her to stay with him and prepare for the college entrance exam. Henji's ghost friend tells her that she was on her way to take the SAT exams when she realized she was dead. This suggests Henji's soul might still be in the living world because of unfinished business related to the SAT exam. The deal is made, but Henji's food costs are much higher than Bangpal expected. She insists on adding meat to their shopping cart, making Bangpal uncomfortable in public. On their way home, Henji asks Bangpal to buy her a dress, but he refuses, doubting she will be able to wear it. Henji reveals she can wear the dress if he burns it, but Bangpal is not willing to burn a new dress. Meanwhile, Sadako's hateful comments continue to make Chun angry. As Sadako posts one of Chun's mean comments, a news report announces Miz's tragic death. A video of Miz's death starts playing on Sadako's phone, scaring him. As Sadako watches in fear, Miz's ghost comes out from under the bed. Sadako cries and screams, but no one is there to help. Outside, Chun, Sangi, and Rang arrive at Sadako's apartment building, ready to confront him about the hacked account. When they open the door, they're shocked to find Sadako dead. After discovering Sadako dead with blood coming from his eyes and mouth, Chun, Sanging, and Rang panic and quickly leave the building to call the police. At first, a detective suspects them, but they are cleared when CCTV footage shows they arrived after Sadako's death. Another detective explains that Ms. Online haters who posted many mean comments are dying one by one following Sadako's death. Now Chun is really worried. Even though his account was hacked, he can explain it as Ms. Ghost won't stop. Chun and Rang are increasingly scared, realizing Miz will come for them soon. Rang seeks out Bang Paul, whom he has seen fighting ghosts before. As Rang explains Miz's situation, Chun holds wooden crosses for protection. When Rang calls Chun, the connection briefly cuts out. Soon after, Chun sees Miz Ghost doing something terrible on his phone, along with her song playing. Panicked, he tries to leave his room but finds Miz waiting in the hallway, horrifying him. Miz knocks him out with one punch. Before she can do more harm, Henry arrives and pushes Miz away from Chan. Henry tries to talk to Miz, but Miz, too angry, ignores her. A fight breaks out, and Miz starts to win. As Miz tries to choke Henry, Bang Paul arrives just in time, throwing Miz against the wall. Miz sees her reflection and realizes she has become a monster. Henji's words make Miz understand that what she's doing is wrong and won't change anything. Miz gives up and disappears into the afterlife. That night, while Henji is sleeping, Bang Paul burns the dress he recently bought for her. When Henji wakes up and finds herself in the beautiful dress, as it's the first gift she's received in 5 years, Bang Paul is struck by her beauty. Meanwhile, a girl bathing in a sauna suddenly feels something touching her leg and is horrified to see a ghost. The next day, Rank and Chan worry about paying Bang Paul for his exorcism services, short on money and facing more problems. They find a cheap place to stay, the same haunted sauna. Unaware of the paranormal activity, they are happy with a 50% discount. At the sauna, Rank feels too hot and decides to sleep outside. As soon as he leaves, the lights flicker and the ghost appears before Chan, who panics and tries to leave but can't unlock the door. The ghost grabs him from behind, stopping him from moving. After a struggle, Rang wakes up and helps Chan escape the haunted sauna. The next day, Rang finds out online that a man died in the sauna a month ago, which might explain the ghost's presence. Stressed by their money problems and avoiding Bang Paul's calls, Rang and Chan eventually run into him at the university. Bang Paul demands his exorcism fee, but Rang asks for 2 more days to get the money. They suggest a plan to the sauna owner to get rid of the ghost affecting his business. The owner agrees to pay $5,000, but Bang Paul initially refuses. When they raise the offer to $35,000, he agrees. That night, the team arrives at the sauna, while Bang Paul, Chun, and Rang search for the ghost. Henji, who has joined them but is too drunk to help, sleeps on the floor. Suddenly, Bang Paul hears a scream. He finds the ghost attacking Henji with bad intentions. He rushes to help her, fighting the ghost. During the fight, Henry tries to sober up and attack the ghost but is caught and lifted into the air. With the ghost trying to kiss her, disgusted, Henry manages to point out the ghost's weaknesses, a stab wound on his chest. Following her advice, Bang Paul strikes the wound, causing the ghost to vanish. After killing the ghost, Chun and Rang keep most of the payment for themselves, planning to turn this into a business. They approach Bang Paul with their new plan. They will find jobs like the Swana gig, and he will handle exorcising the ghosts. Bang Paul agrees but still refuses to join their ghost net club. Then they convince Sion, Bangpal's crush, to join the club, hoping it will make Bangpal join too. Their plan works and Bangpal agrees to join the club. The members decide to have a picnic at a lake near Rang's family cottage. Henji and Sion relax on the dock, unaware of a ghost in the water. The ghost grabs Sion's leg and pulls her into the water. Henji, panicking, is pushed aside by Bangpal, who rescues Sion. When Sion explains that someone pulled her in, Bangpal suspects Henji, as she doesn't like Sion. Henji denies it, but Bangpal doesn't believe her. Upset by the accusation, Henji walks away to calm down. Bangpal learns from a shopkeeper that the lake is haunted and rushes back to save Henji. Meanwhile, the ghosts pull Henji into the water, dragging her deeper. Bangpal arrives just in time, fights the ghost, and manages to save Henji, who is shaken but recovers and hugs Bangpal, thankful for his help. Henji, feeling weaker as her condition keeps getting worse, worried, Bangpal decides to skip college to take care of her. While Henji is asleep, she has clear memories of the day she was hit by a car and sees a woman crying for her. Even though Bangpal tries to comfort her, Henji doesn't get better. He tells Seon that he can go to college because he's feeling sick, but he really wants to stay with Henji. He spends the day making soup, hoping it will help her get better. When she wakes up, Henji talks about a dream where she relived moment from her past but still isn't sure who the woman in her vision is or how she died. The next day, Rang and Chansang decide to buy uniforms for their team. They go to a store and buy black suits that fit their work. Henji asks Bangpal to buy her a uniform too since she's part of the team, but he says no. After shopping, the team goes straight to a building for their next mission. A woman has locked her daughter, Young S, in her room because of her strange behavior. Flashbacks shows that the mother often scolded her daughter for not being the best in school, even though Young S was ranked 12th. The constant pressure made Young S try to take her own life, but a ghost possessed her before she could jump. One day, the mother finds torn pages all over the room and sees Young S purposely scratching at them. When the mother tries to stop her, Young S hurts her. Young S also starts dressing in a revealing way and wearing heavy makeup, which worries her mother. When her mother confronts her, Young S pushes her away, saying that her daughter died a long time ago. Despite this, her mother follows her to a club and is shocked to see her daughter with an older man. Furious, the mother slaps her daughter, but Young S, now fully possessed, laughs crazily, showing the ghost's control over her. The woman explains that she tried to get help from doctors and shamans, but it only made Young S's condition worse. Bangpal decides to investigate further. When he enters the room, he finds Young S acting possessed. A tough fight breaks out between Bangpal and the ghost. At first, the ghost is winning, but Henji tries to help Bangpal. Despite their efforts, Young S keeps resisting. Hearing the noise, the mother panics, but Rang and Shansang calm her down. As the fight gets more intense, Young S attacks them and eventually escapes the apartment. The ghost forces Young S to try and jump from a height, but Henji steps in, pulling her away from the edge. Henji tries to wake Young S, but the ghost has completely taken over her. The ghost then tries to choke Henji, and Bangpal arrives just in time to distract her. Another intense battle begins, but even with their best efforts, Bangpal and Henji have a hard time getting rid of the ghost. As the ghost became more violent, it tries to choke Bangpal, but then Young C's mother arrives, apologizes for being so strict, and asks her daughter to stop. This act of kindness gives Young C strength, making the ghost leave her. With the ghost gone, Bangpal fights back with new energy and finally exorcises it. The mother and daughter are happily reunited and make peace, starting a happier chapter in their lives. As time goes on, Bangpal and Henji grow closer, but they both hesitate to show their feelings. The next day, the exorcists are called to help a man who is possessed. His sister tells Bangpal that her brother, who was very sick, started having seizures after he got better. During one seizure, he locked himself in the bathroom and tried to take his own life. The sister shares this with Bangpal, setting the stage for their next challenge. Bangpal and Henji enters the room after hearing distressing screams. They find Hyam Man lying on his bed, and when his sister tries to open the curtain, it closes by itself, hinting at paranormal activity. Bangpal and Henji spot a female ghost sitting on top of Hyam Man, but she vanishes before Bangpal can intervene. Henji notices a photo on the table showing Hyam Man with the same girl who appeared as a ghost. The family reveals that the woman is Hyam Man's girlfriend, Sukang. His mother is furious with Sukang for harming her son, even after her death. The next day, Hyam Man loses control, wreaking havoc in his room and causing concern for his sister, who sees him bleeding from his forehead. Hyam Man then hears a voice and, in response, violently knocks his sister down before leaving the house. As he departs, his sister sees Sugang's ghost staring at her in terror. She contacts Bangpal to update him on the situation and reveals that Hyam Man's favorite spot is the river, where he used to go with Sugang and where he scattered her ashes. The team rushes to the river and finds Hyam Man on a bridge teetering on the edge. Henji decides to teleport to prevent him from jumping. Upon arrival, she confronts Sukang's ghost, who was standing behind Hyam Man. The ghost explains that she is trying to save her boyfriend from ending his life. Before Henji can fully understand, Hyam Man jumps off the bridge. Fortunately, Bangpal arrives just in time and saves him. On the shore, Sakang's ghost begs Hyam Man not to take his own life. In a flashback, it's revealed that Hyam Man was diagnosed with a brain tumor and given only 3 months to live without surgery, which wasn't guaranteed to succeed. Overwhelmed by grief and drinking heavily, Hyam Man was saved by Sukang right before being hit by a vehicle. They fell in love, made beautiful memories, and planned their future together. On the day of his surgery, Sukang was tragically killed by a truck while rushing to the hospital to see Hyam Man. After learning of her death, Hyam Man became suicidal, unable to accept his life without her. Sukang's ghost explains that her happiness depends on Hyam Man living a fulfilling life, and she extracts a promise from him not to harm himself again. After making the promise, Hyam Man bids farewell to Sukang as she continues her journey to the afterlife. Meanwhile, Bangpal and Henji have developed feeling for each other, and Bangpal has already confessed his love. However, when his uncle visits Bangpal's apartment in his absence, he encounters Henji. Though he cannot see her, sensing her presence and aware of Bangpal's involvement with ghosts, Mayang Chol advises Henji to leave Bangpal for his own good. He reveals Bangpal's tragic past. As a child, he was possessed by an evil spirit, and despite his uncle's effort to expel it, the spirits lingered and ultimately killed Bangpal's mother. This tragic event led to Bangpal's ability to see ghosts and subsequent bullying. Henji is distressed by the revelation and tears up, realizing her presence might have negatively impacted Bangpal. That day, when Bangpal returns home, he finds a cake left by his uncle for his birthday. Later that night, he and Henji celebrate on a cruise ship, where Henji apologizes for everything. She asks Bangpal to fetch her a drink but vanishes when he returns, leaving only memories behind. Bangpal discovers Henji's dress missing and, suspecting something happened between her and his uncle, confronts the monk. His uncle admits to instructing Henji to leave, angering Bangpal. The next day, Henji visits a net cafe and searches for the Dahan Essay Academy, which she frequently sees in her visions. She heads to the academy's location, where she recalls having an accident in the past. A car accident nearby triggers memories of her own accident and hospitalization at Hanel University Hospital. Henji remembers that Hong was the cause of her accident. Hong notices Henji near the academy and tells her he can see her, That night, Henry goes to the hospital where she sees herself in a coma. She follows her mother home and sees the house filled with her pictures and medals. Suddenly, her mother gets an urgent call and rushes to the hospital, learning that Henry has been in a coma for 5 years. Meanwhile, Bang Paul and his team are on another ghost hunting job when a ghost appears in front of their van, making them run away. They soon realize it's the same ghost that we're supposed to exorcise. Bang Paul defeats the ghost but gets hurt while trying to avoid a crash. And Rang and Chun Sang quickly take him to the hospital where Henji is. When Henji sees herself alive, she understands she can be with Bang Paul. Hung tracks Henji to the hospital and finds out she's in a coma. Afraid she might remember the location of the ritual tool, he decides to kill her. He finds the tool in her school locker and plans to destroy it so he can keep existing. Bang Paul steps in, saving Henji and fighting Hong. Even though Hong has strong evil powers, Bang Paul doesn't give up. His uncle uses his blood to power up his sword and attacks Hong, forcing the evil spirit out of him. Henji throws the ritual tool to Bang Paul, who uses it to destroy the spirit with one powerful punch. His uncle survives the ritual and later confirms that Hong is still alive. The police arrest Hong for his crimes. Henji is reunited with her mother, who blames Bang Paul for the bad things in Henji's life. She tells Bang Paul that they will go home and if he really cares for Henji, he should let her go. Bang Paul respects her decision and stays away from Henji. Henji takes the SAT exam, hoping to get into Bang Paul's university. On the day of the results, she is troubled by a ghost but finds strength from Bang Paul to face it. During the freshman welcome party, some girls invite Bang Paul to join. Even though Henji didn't pass the exam, at first, Bang Paul hesitates but then decides to go and is surprised to see Henji among the freshmen. She got into the university and kept it a secret. That night, Bang Paul gathers the courage to ask Henji's mother for permission to date her. Her mother, who didn't like the idea at first, agrees after getting to know Bang Paul better. Life slowly came back to normal for them. They find love and purpose, while Chung Sang and In Rang are excited to invite Hyun Ji to join their club officially. Even though they're hesitant at first, but they find out that they want to help lost spirits find peace. They decide to join the club officially to fight evil spirits and help those trapped between the worlds.